Welcome to the fifth episode of Frames of the Future, a brand new podcast presented by the Eleanor Rose International Film Festival. This podcast is dedicated to connecting with filmmakers and creatives from around the world, offering an inside look into their projects, their process, and the stories behind the work. We believe every artist deserves the opportunity to share their creative vision with an audience, and Frames of the Future was created to do exactly that. If you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, feel free to send us a DM or email us at contact@eleanorrosefilmfestival.com. The Eleanor Rose International Film Festival is a global celebration of bold, innovative storytelling, bringing filmmakers from around the world together in the heart of Pennsylvania. Taking place May 29th through 31st, 2026, at the historic Roxy Theater in Northampton, the festival features theatrical screenings on the big screen, a glamorous red carpet experience, exclusive networking events, and insightful talks and Q&As led by industry professionals. Whether you're an emerging artist or an established filmmaker, Eleanor Rose is where stories connect, ideas collide, and the future of film takes center stage. In today's episode, we're excited to welcome filmmakers Erika Lobati and Lola Ackerman. Writer and director Erika Lobati and producer Lola Ackerman created the bold and emotionally resonant television pilot ScapeG.O.A.T, which follows Camille, a teen who takes the fall for a school-wide cyberbullying scandal. As tensions rise, her best friends Santiago and Ananya must decide to stand by her or let tensions in their friendship hold. Erika and Lola cross paths at Temple University's film program to bring this urgent story to life, and today we'll dive into what made this story feel urgent, where Camille, Santiago, and Ananya's journeys are headed beyond the pilot, and the standout moments that make this episode truly unforgettable. I'm entertainment journalist Ashley Kane. Welcome to Frames of the Future. Erika, Lola, welcome to Frames of the Future.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
for
for having us.
Yeah, of course. So your TV pilot ScapeG.O.A.T is a fascinating story about Camille Badu, who unfairly takes the blame for a school-wide cyberbullying scandal. Her best friends must decide if they will stand by her or let tensions in their friendship prevail. The episode explores teen awkwardness, loyal friendship, and the coming-of-age genre. What about this story felt urgent to both of you?
Yeah, Erica, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I was originally inspired to pursue this story just based off of my experiences growing up. I grew up in a Cameroonian-American household and went to private schools in the Midwest. I had a good time in school, but I also there's very specific experiences when you're a child of immigrant or you grow up in one culture, go to school into another. So I really wanted to have a film that was forefronting those perspectives and a potential series one day forefronting those perspectives. I'd love to see these characters in so many different situations, and also just kind of seeing the ways that their home life kind of intertwines and contrasts, but like it affects their life at school and things like that. But I also just like wanted to do something funny. I love comedy. That's something I've always loved, like sketch comedy shows like Key and Peele and things like that, things like the Mindy Project. But I also really love like dramedy too, things like My Mad Fat Diary, for example. Just like, so I kind of wanted a film that I keep calling it a film, but it's a proof of concept for something bigger. But I wanted something that in some ways didn't take itself too seriously, but also could become serious in moments where it mattered. Um, I started developing the characters for Camille and Anya and Santiago, all from all completely different cultures and also completely different values, personalities, views on life. And that was really fun to write. And also just writing jokes is fun to do too. So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also for me, something that really appealed to me about Erica's script was this friendship between the teenagers and the way that they're all from different cultural backgrounds, but they have this connection of being students of color in a primarily white institution and also having kind of like a community that's from a diaspora. And that's something I connected to. And I also just found the script really funny, which was really refreshing. Having a way to cover these topics that isn't all doom and gloom all the time, I think is really important. And so that's something that, for me, I really loved immediately about Erica's script.
Yeah, I feel like in the industry right now, you don't see that many underrepresented voices as just the main characters. It's a more diverse group of cast of characters. So yeah, I really appreciated watching it and seeing their perspective going through, high school because I feel like you don't really see that as much. Uh, And yeah, you guys said that you want to make this a series. Uh, and I think that you set up some sh really strong character motivations in the episode. We've got Camille, who wants to make her parents proud, Santiago, who wants money for college applications, and Ananya wanting just peace in the friend group. Looking beyond the pilot, how do both of you envision the story expanding beyond the initial scandal that happened?
Ooh, it's so exciting. I've actually like conceptualized a different even starting point for where it would be. Like this is kind of more of a proof of a concept of like this is what an episode could look like. But I feel like putting together a pilot that really sets them up, even potentially younger, like seeing them earlier on in high school, like maybe their freshman or sophomore year, so that we can really follow them and their growth over the period of seasons. And I know personally as a writer, like I'm really interested in like the short-term growth for different episode ideas, which I have come up with some ideas for those, but then also like over the course of a season or a series. And I think seeing people like Camille start to kind of learn how to let go, let loose, seeing folks like Santiago kind of learn like, okay, you have a lot of guards up, and as much as you think you're protecting yourself, you might actually be keeping yourself from things that are good and beautiful. And then seeing folks like Ananya as well learn to find her voice and learn to put herself out there. Just seeing that over the course of a long series. I've been so excited. I've been putting together the series Bible and all that stuff, and I got as episode ideas. It's been very fun to think through all the different ways that this friend group can show up in wacky situations.
Yeah, I totally agree with Erica. I think that seeing the characters younger, seeing how their relationships kind of first form and develop would be really amazing. I also personally felt when making the pilot that the family storylines are were so interesting to me, and I felt like the chemistry from our actors when they were in these families was like really really great to see. And I think that there's kind of sometimes an absence of positive families in teen media where either the parents are kind of like absent usually, or the relationship's not good because they're teenagers and they're supposed to be acting out. And I think that Scapegoat has a little bit more of a nuanced take in these relationships. And I think part of that comes down to the different cultural relationships between family, family values and the way that shows up for teens. And so I think that's something that I would really love to see explored more deeply is the teens' relationship with their parents, especially, or their siblings, if we go into them possibly having that as well.
Yeah, definitely. As I was watching as well, I was like wanting more family life and how their family relationship connects with their like relationships at school. Like I think that would be a really cool storyline. Yeah, do you guys see this as like an hour long or a half hour?
I personally see it as a half hour. I don't know if that's me being lazy as a writer. I'm just kidding. No, I personally see it as a half hour, kind of just having these like, short segments, especially just with like a quippy, like kind of snappy comedy style. But I do see, like a lot of episodes, and I do see like seeing a lot of growth over time. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think like that kind of classic sitcom, like about a half hour, is just the perfect length of time for having that like A plot, B plot, and then maybe a C plot as well. And I think in our pilot, you can kind of see like the A and B plot, but it's only about 20 minutes. So I think having it just be a slightly longer, that full episode length would really just like be perfect for all the characters to have their little moment throughout an episode.
Yeah, definitely. I love 30 like half hour shows. Like I feel like it's so easy to like, follow the characters in their journey and then like want to watch the next episode right after. So, yeah, I th that's really exciting. Uh
Can I add real quick? I would also
yeah, go
love it
for
to
it.
be like 22 episodes a season, like a classic sitcom, like
Thank you.
a
Thank
long
you.
season, not like like a 22 episode season, and then each episode is like half an hour would be ideal in my mind.
Yes, thank you. These streaming services are only doing six, some of them are only doing 6 episodes a season. I'm like, come on, give us more?
But also streaming services, if you're watching, please give me a spot.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
make it
please,
work.
please.
We'll do it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, okay. Well, fingers crossed. You guys also, the scene where Camille marches to the principal's office to turn herself in, switching from both casual to prisoner attire, is so striking and definitely foreshadows the consequence to her actions. How did you approach directing and producing a moment that relies more on visual storytelling than dialogue?
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to think of directing. For me, the directing process of that was a lot easier, I guess. I just like because you can, we knew we were going to put the music on after the fact. We didn't have to record sound. So you're able to really walk people through it. And then also when it came to the extras, it's like we had those little visual gags like written into the script. And I really wanted to like have some triggering imagery of like, like I was like, we need to have that scene where there's someone measuring someone's like shorts. Like that was just such a night, like that was such an iconic like memory from high school. But so we had those written into the scripts, but we also, I don't know if you want to talk about this, Lola, more just because it's more producing. Like we were at the whims of the extras that came to set, and it's hard to find a lot of extras sometimes, especially for student film.
Yeah, I think definitely when you're producing something and it's so visual, it's not really about the dialogue. A big part of it is trusting your crew to be able to do their jobs and do them really well. So, in the sense of having the extras who are playing their little parts and just having their like little funny bits, also having our cinematographer who knows how to frame things and we can trust to make everything look good, the costume design, the hair and makeup, all of those are elements, and the editing as well, for sure. All of these are like elements that are really important in that scene. And I think specifically when we're talking about something that isn't as dialogue heavy, having that sort of trust in the crew is really important because the director kind of has to take a little bit of a step back and sort of just like let everyone do their jobs. And in this case, it was really about planning for all of that ahead of time. And then when it was happening on set, it just goes smoothly if everyone's doing everything well, which on Scapegoat everything was.
Absolutely. And just to add to that too, like yeah, the crew was incredible. Like both like post-production and production. Yeah, like the costume designer, Joey, who did cinematography, Marina, who did costume design. Yeah, it was incredible. And just like the whole camera department just supporting throughout that and like gaffing the gaffers and everything. And yeah, in post-production too, we worked with two editors, Raquel and Gabby, who their strengths just came together so beautifully. But I know for that scene, Raquel really went hard on the music and like really cutting it to picture and making it really feel the way I felt in my head. And I was glad that they were able to bring it to the screen.
Yeah, it definitely showed off those other elements in a film that you don't even think about. So I really enjoyed that. And oh, I especially loved you mentioned the editors with the right before she entered the office, you could hear the jail sound of like
Yeah, the
she's
prison
about to it's
door.
about to go down, it's not looking good. So yeah, I really did appreciate that because now the viewers have to like notice and listen to the other aspects of the film, which is it's really nice it's very refreshing. Uh yeah, and do you guys see this as a moment of no return for Camille? Because she made this decision.
Oh, you mean like in the film? I mean,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's giving right before that scene, it's very much a butterfly effect moment where like Ananya is giving her two paths, like you can choose to do this or you can choose to do this. I will always be your friend, but just know, trying to manage her expectations, like it might not get the result, the picture perfect result you're looking for. And I think yeah, discovering that the principal was a little bit more deceptive than how she had presented
Mhm.
the whole scandal admissions thing to work out. So yeah, it was kind of a point of no return, and I think, but it also like, it definitely forces Camille to look at her own intentions and like the way she kind of takes her frustrations out a little bit on the friend group in the later scenes. It's like, oh, okay, why did you do that actually? Like what were you looking for?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like Camila is kind of at a point of no return at the very beginning. Like from the very start, she's kind of headed down this path of like holding herself to this like near impossible standard that is just way too much for a teenager. And so I think that as the story goes along, that just keeps getting pushed like further and further and further until she is sort of at this breaking point where she feels like she's doing everything right and then still being punished for it, both kind of by her friends and also by like the institution at large. So I think that is like a really key point where she realizes that despite her best efforts, she's not going to be treated fairly at the school. And then she has to decide how to deal with that emotionally and the impact of that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I remember in the beginning of the film, uh, the principal was talking about, oh, and you need to have like, oh no, not the principal, sorry. It was
The guest
the
speaker,
guest
right?
speaker. Yes, the guest speaker. She was talking to students and she mentioned integrity. And then Erica, I really liked your close-up shot of Camille and her reaction to that because yes, Lola, you're right. It's like this is the path she's going on and it's it's really nice to see that her friends, Ananya, like were supporting her, but this is the path she's on, and she must, figure out how she wants to handle it and how she reacts to it. So yeah, I really did it like everything felt so intentional with your film, like the from the writing, directing to the editing, the music, the producing. Yeah, I really liked it. Uh, and yeah, I'm also very curious. Like when working on this project together, was there ever a time where both of your visions clashed? And did you ever have, like, how did you guys resolve that? If there were.
That's interesting. I like that question. I feel like more people should ask questions like that. Like I think it's okay to like, but I honestly I don't think I ever felt that with Lola. Ever. Like honestly, I felt like immediately like she just got what I was going for. And like, I mean, you tell me if you disagree, Lola, and maybe this will be what the clash is. But like for me, I just like was so it was honestly so amazing to co-produce this with her and like it just she's such a hard worker, she's so savvy and like um it was just like I don't know. It felt good to like kind of merge brains on that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think for the two of us there was a moment where there was that creative clash. I think for me it was like I came into it and the script had already been written and Erica had this really clear vision and I really loved her vision. I didn't want to change it. I didn't think that like there were parts that needed to be like wildly revised. If there were things like suggestions I had, Erica's always been super receptive to anything like that. And I think she knows that it's always in service of the story. And for both of us, it's a story we are really passionate about. And if there ever was something that we had a different perspective on, I probably would have just trusted Erica to make the right call on it. Because at the end of the day, it really was her story that she was bringing into the world. And I just wanted to kind of be there to support it.
Yeah. Can I also add something though? Because even though you're kind of talking about the producing, I will say like one of the collaborators that I really loved working with and we were able to talk through that with was my cinematographer, Joey Moreno. And this is the third project we've worked on together. We went to undergrad back in Kansas and it's just amazing to see us come back together and be like, oh my gosh, it feels like no time has passed, but we're both like better at what we do now. So this is incredible. But also there was like times like we were doing like rose and thorns at the end of the days and being like, okay, like what's something that really worked about today and like what's something that was a thorn and like that was how we were able to kind of adjust and adapt for each new shoot day, being like, oh, okay, tomorrow I'm going to be more thoughtful of that, or tomorrow, or like my bad on that scene. Yeah, I was this was the headspace I was in, but like yeah, the next day I think if we do this, it'll be okay. And it's like it's not personal at all. It's not like tense at all. It's just like workshopping the way you're working together, especially when you're working on a student like production and you're having to overturn, I don't know if it's, you're having to replace a lot of, there were a lot of people that were just there for a day on like supporting crew and things like that. So then that changes the flow of things too. So it's just good to work with clear communicators, respectful people, no ego. We're just like, hey, yeah, this is like my suggestion for how we can get this, do better tomorrow.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like on a film set especially there's so many like creative minds and it can be tough to like balance that. So I really do think it's such a genius idea to do that rose thorn thing to figure out like where everyone's at, but not like, walk on eggshells around each other or like anything like that. You kind of just get down to like what you need to talk about and what needs to happen and how to resolve it. Yeah, so that's a really good idea. I feel like more people need to do that for sure. And you guys both went to film school at Temple, Erica for your master's and Lola for your bachelor's. At what point did your paths cross creatively, and when did you realize you wanted to build something together?
Yeah, I can honestly take that one. So actually, Erica and I didn't meet while I was at Temple. We met kind of through a mutual friend who we both worked on projects with and who worked on Scapegoat, Maya Corwin. And I had produced a short film for her. And she knew that Erica was looking for a producer and suggested me, and I was looking for another project to take on. And Erica and I met, and we just kind of right away seemed to align. I know that I just felt really impressed by how organized Erica was, how passionate she was about her script, how prepared she was for our meeting. So I knew right away that I wanted to be part of her project, and I just was lucky enough that she trusted me with it.
Yeah, I was lucky to find Lola at the right time. I mean, like, yeah, I think this production would have gone way more haywire without Lola, in probably many different ways. But yeah, I'm just shout out to Maya Corwin for connecting us.
Yeah, I feel like people come in your lives like at just the right time and it's just like meant to be. So that's a really it's so like very hopeful and encouraging to other filmmakers out there. And those other filmmakers out there, I know you guys are both graduated now. What advice do you have for students who are about to graduate film school?
That's a good question. About to graduate film school, so not starting, like they're on their way out, kind
Yeah,
of
like
thing.
they maybe only have like a week, a month left, and they're trying to break into this industry. What advice would you want to hear?
Maybe I think this might be weird advice, but I think get to know some people that you didn't think to get to know maybe during the last few years that you were in the film school. Like get to know some new people. I think we get really comfortable with who we work with and we're like, I just want to work with them again and again and again. And that can be good too, again, because you can like evolve and develop those collaborative relationships and like work even better. But I think also bringing in some newer perspectives, people that have strengths in areas that you might have weaknesses and like whatever, vice versa. So I think if you're on your way out, like obviously continue watering your garden in terms of the people you've met, but I think maybe put yourself out there a little bit before you go and like try to meet some other people who are making work that's maybe a little different from yours and seeing you might work with them in the future or you might just get inspired by them and it could influence your work.
Yeah, it's a great answer. I honestly I should have done more of like the like right before I left. I was just so like I need to be done. Because I think my advice might be like a little bit different just because I transferred into film school, so I was only there for 2 years before graduating. Um and I think my advice would be regardless of how your time at film school went, whether you feel like you accomplished a lot or you feel like you only really just got started, I would say that you have to or you should remember that there's no race. There's no one speed or pace that you should be going or working at. What's important is, like Erica said, kind of watering the things that are feeding you creatively, and supporting you economically. So I think that it's really about continuing to work at it, but also being patient with yourself, with the process, realizing that a lot of times work comes in unexpected places, and at unexpected times. And so not to put too much pressure on yourself to get out of film school and then immediately hit the ground running. If you can do that, that's amazing, but a lot of people can't. So be patient with yourself. Be aware that it is a marathon, and if you love it, there's no real way to fail at it except for by giving up. So just keep working at it.
That's a really great answer. Yeah, I feel like we're so young and yeah, I feel like we have so much time and we have been studying this for so long that like we everything that is meant for us will happen. Like nothing that is meant for us will pass us by. So I think that's yeah, that's a really good point. And I
Actually,
know that this is your guy. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, could I add something really quick?
Yeah.
I also just would say um, that I think a lot of students right out of film school, because they're so anxious for work, they can sometimes put themselves in situations where they're kind of being taken advantage of. So I would just say that as another piece of advice, be aware of your own value. It doesn't matter how much experience you have value as someone who is working on a set, regardless of the position, whether you're the production assistant or the director, you have value and you are adding value to that set. So make sure that you're standing up for yourself, standing up for your fellow crew, because that's how you create a solid foundation in the industry is really by pushing for that respect for yourself.
Definitely. Yeah, like we belong there and we like they always say, networking is the strongest way to get, into this industry. So definitely just have, nurturing those foundational relationships. And I know that this is your guys' first time submitting and attending the Eleanor Rose International Film Festival. Having submitted Scapegoat to other film festivals before, what feels different about bringing it to Eleanor Rose, either creatively or professionally?
Oh, I'm actually very excited to go somewhere outside of Philadelphia. I think since I moved to Philly, I've just been in the Philly bubble, which is, I mean, it's amazing. It's obviously a very rich city, but still very connected and lots of familiar faces. But I'm excited to kind of take it out of Philly and just like see a new community of local film, and it seems like such a lively like festival from what I've seen so far. So just looking forward to getting to know other communities of filmmaking.
Yeah, I'd second that. I think that it's easy to kind of stay in the bubble of Philadelphia's film community. But I think that like small local communities in film is like how you create those networks that you were talking about, Ashley. I think it's how you meet people who you're going to work with. It's how you get inspired. So I think that that's a huge benefit of Scapegoat going to the Eleanor Rose International Film Festival is being able to connect with the community in Northampton, and bring some of that like Philadelphia to there and then bringing some of it back with us too.
Definitely, definitely. I feel like, exploring and putting ourselves out there, it's just, well, like we're more connected to this like stories, it can be so inspiring as creatives to see, to explore and hear more of other people's stories in this industry. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I do want to ask, like, when we air Scapegoat to the viewers, what do you hope audiences take away after watching the pilot?
I feel like I have a couple of answers for this, but like, well, one, I want them to feel warm inside, which is not like a message, it's more of like a general feeling. Like I do want them to I want them to feel a little nostalgic. I want them to like remember and think about the times that they were in school, or if they are in school, I want them to kind of feel seen about like the experience they might be having, whether it's being anxious about going to college or if being anxious about getting in trouble or just like being like I'm just trying to survive high school and like be live under the radar. Like I want people to feel seen in that way, but I also especially just want I want I mean the bigger goal of all of this is to really just humanize immigrant people, immigrant children of immigrants, children of diaspora, um being able to see folks from different cultures and like not view them as like representative of an entire group, and being able to kind of, I empathize with like their individuality. So, Santiago and Nanya, Camille, they're all completely different people. Their parents are completely different people. And so being able to diverse up, like seeing not only diversity of skin or culture, but diversity of thought within those. And I think yeah, instead of, so that's like kind of like a huge representational goal. And yeah, feel free to jump in, Lola. I feel like I'm talking all over.
No, not at all. I think that's such a good point. I think for me to add on to that, something that I would love audiences to take away is just to have some empathy for teenagers, especially teenagers right now who are living in a very like unstable, scary world. And I think our film addresses this in kind of like a silly way. But it is something that's very real for teenagers right now, as it was for us when we were growing up as teenagers. So I think that's something that's really important. I also hope that people take away some of the humor as connection and the ability, Erica's ability to tackle things that are difficult and hurtful to talk about sometimes, but being able to know that you can have these discussions and also still laugh and still make jokes and still embrace things that are a little silly and that it doesn't take away from the seriousness of topics, but it doesn't mean you have to feel morose all the time, and that those two things can kind of coexist. So I hope that's something audiences take away.
Absolutely. I also want to just say, like, earlier when you asked what are you excited to come to Eleanor Rose for, like, I was like, I'm always excited as a comedy writer to see what jokes hit more with different crowds, because I feel like it varies, and like it varies by region sometimes and all that. So I'm just definitely curious to know, like, what's the flavor of this crowd? Like, what do they find funny? Like, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait to laugh out loud in the theater when Scapegoat airs. Uh, Thank you guys so much. And we are now going to the Would You Rather game. Okay, I'm going to ask each of you a Would You Rather question, and you don't think, just answer, no explanation. Erica, I'm going to start with you, and then Lola, the next question will be for you. Okay, and it'll go back and forth. Are you guys ready?
Ready?
Okay. Erica, would you rather have weekly episode drops that build buzz or binge release the whole season at once?
Weekly. I miss that. I miss like being like coming home from school, being like an episode of Adventure Time's coming out tonight. I have to be home by 6, mom. Like I miss
Mhm.
that, like the buzz of like
It's so nostalgic. Yes. Yeah, okay. And Lola, would you rather have a flawless shoot day or a flawless premiere night?
Flawless shoot day. I mean, honestly, because a premiere at the very least, everyone can like go home, get dressed up. We can go out for dinner afterwards. A shoot, it's gonna be like 10 hours. Like, let's just make sure it goes well for everyone.
Definitely,
if
definitely.
the
Erica,
shoot
would you
goes well.
rather win all the film festival awards in the country or secure a streaming deal?
Oh, would I rather win all the film festivals in the country or secure a streaming deal? Streaming deal.
Mhm. Lola, would you rather produce a feature film after this or another TV show pilot?
Either, but I'll say TV show pilot for now.
Okay. Okay. And Erica, would you rather have a perfect pilot or stronger season finale?
Oh, I think the finale, from what I've learned about how people feel about the show Lost, which I haven't seen, but like I don't even know what the ending is, but I think when the ending is weak, people can immediately be like, I hate the whole show. So I'd rather have a really strong finale.
Okay. Okay. Lola, would you rather bet on a first-time filmmaker or a proven name?
First time filmmaker, just because if you are connecting to someone's story, then it's really nice to be able to support someone who might not have the same support from being established already. I mean, it's great to work with someone who already has that resume, but there's nothing wrong with taking a chance on someone who's still proving themselves.
Definitely. I agree. Thank you both for joining Frames of the Future. Uh,
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you so much for
us.
having us. Yeah.
I'm entertainment journalist Ashley Kane. Thanks for watching.